What's popping, y'all? It's me, Mike, and I'm here with my guy.
Commander Eddie P at your service.
Okay.
What's up, Commander Mike?
Okay. I guess I'm Commander Mike. And you're listening to the Sporting Convos with Eddie and Mike. And we will not be talking about the Commanders this episode. Why? Because they'll get a good chunk of next week's episode when we preview their 2024 season, give y'all some thoughts on what we think is going to happen over the next few months, as well as the NFC East. And we'll also give our Super Bowl predictions and playoff predictions next episode as well. But in this episode, we're going over the other 7 divisions and we're going to predict the winners. We're going to talk a little bit about a couple of teams, not all 4 teams, at max 3 teams maybe, but we will touch all 7 divisions other than the NFC East because we're doing that next week. But before we get started, just gotta ask my guy if he has anything else he want to say before we dive into these division predictions.
Yeah, since that's pretty much like the whole show is going to be us talking football. Big shout out to Dylan Cruz, who has just been killing it. Unfortunately, the Nats lost today, 7-6. They were coming back, 9th inning rally, all of those sort of storybook movie kind of things going on, and fell just short. Cruz had his second homer as a rookie in as many days. He has, well, maybe that sentence wasn't correct. Pardon me. He's had 2 homers in 2 days. So anyway, yeah, he's been killing it. His first game up, I don't think he really did much as far as hitting, but made some plays in the outfield. Second game, had a single and a double that was almost a home run. Third game, home run, double. Fourth game, home run. I'll be honest, I was kind of in and out watching the game while also being a parent. And so, yeah, either way, my man's killing it. Future's looking bright with James Wood, Jacob Young, and Dylan Cruz in the outfield, Luis Garcia, CJ Abrams in the infield. Yeah, I think we're really coming along. We got the pitching staff. Obviously, it's a process, but just encouraging. And what's really cool when you factor in Dylan Cruz, number 2 overall pick from LSU, Jaden Daniels, number 2 overall pick from LSU. It's not like, oh, because of that, like they're both here, they're both going to kill it, but still sort of a cool connection, you know.
Yeah, and I'll just throw this out here. If you hadn't heard, tragic loss in the NHL today. I just want to make sure I'm saying their names correctly. But Johnny Godrew or Godro and
I
Matthew.
think it's Gordano. I'm not
It's
sure.
not even the E. I mean the N in their name.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm looking at it. It's Gaudreau. That's why I was like, it's Godrew or Godu. But obviously we're not trying to disrespect their names. It's just this silly language stuff gets in the way. But nevertheless, tragic death yesterday evening in New Jersey. 2 brothers, hockey players in the NHL, were visiting New Jersey to attend their sister's wedding, which was supposed to happen on Friday. But on Thursday night, they were struck by a drunk driver, and both players, they died. And yeah, it's a tragic situation all around. And then come to find out, the driver of the vehicle kind of like had a nonchalant attitude of during his court hearing today. So it's made the situation feel worse that the person that did it doesn't even seem to care. Like he was complaining because he had to stay in jail over the weekend or something like that. Like, what, you loser. You loser. Put him under the jail, man. Like, straight up.
Yeah, that's definitely just one of those like super shitty situations. I believe the bride canceled her wedding, understandably. Uh,
Thankfully.
yeah, I mean, what else could you really do? I don't think there's any surprise there, and it sucks because that was probably supposed to be greatest day of her life outside of having kids, should she choose to do so. Also, I was listening to like some audio, ESPN. It's Gaudreau. I think you were obviously much closer than I was. You know, Dumb and Dumber, Lloyd Christmas. I was way off. Anyway, uh, yeah. I mean,
Would you say the names were?
Gaudreau. Yeah. You were like pretty much there. I don't think you said it right, but you weren't like you were very close, much closer than I was. And anyway, it's not about that. Um, situations like that suck, and I think we all just need to be thankful, that we are waking up each day. Obviously, things could be better, but they could be worse too. So, uh, yeah, let's start talking about who we think is going to have some better days this upcoming football season, man. You know what I mean? Like it's here, and that's the cool thing. Like, I'm bummed that the summer is pretty much like come and gone like real quick. Like I think part of it is just me getting older now, but the bittersweet part, I got to go back to work. I work at a school, and while I love kids, it can be really like repetitive and trying and just wear on you. But that also means there's football. And while I would like for there to be a little bit more on the football side, I don't know what that more is necessarily. Maybe like for beer and wings to be a little cheaper, maybe for my team to get a few more wins. That'd
You
be
gotta move to
cool.
Atlanta for that food
Yeah,
price stuff.
yeah. Anywho, it would be great for those things to happen, but I at least get football, and that's kind of like I said, the bittersweet. I gotta deal with these booger eating kids all the time. So, but I'll
All
take
right,
it.
so
So,
let's jump into it. We're gonna start with the AFC East, and again, we are not doing the NFC East until next week when we do our preview show with Commanders. But we're still right now and doing a little division prediction, starting with the AFC East. I'm going to talk a bit about the Miami Dolphins. Are they my prediction to win the East? I don't know. But they do have high expectations, and they got a powerful offense with a powerful coordinator, running backs out the wazoo. You got Tyreek Hill, who I spent a ridiculous amount on during the draft auction last week. But we're not going to talk about that. They got a couple of tight ends they picked up this offseason. Defense should be better now that they might have a little bit of cohesion because they lost. I can't remember. I think Fangio was the one that left Miami and went to Philly. And yeah, I think it was him. And I'm confused because I remember Vic Fangio used to coach the Dolphins like as a head coach. So you rarely see a head coach go back to a team as a coordinator. But nevertheless, yeah, the Dolphins they're pretty good, but all it takes is one wrong hit to Tua, and the season's derailed. Like your entire season's derailed. You could say that about any quarterback, but with Tua is different because of the concussion history. And we're talking about not only his football career, but that can be life altering. And obviously, we don't want that. And it might sound cliche, but like it's the truth. You don't want to see people get badly injured just playing football. And I know we love it a lot, but at the end of the day, it's still just football. I'd rather him live than to play football. Like it's a no brainer. So that's how I'm feeling about the Dolphins, Eddie. What are you thinking about the Buffalo Bills?
I'm looking at a team that has it. They're so close yet so far away. You look at Stephon Diggs leaving that team. I don't know how much to read into this stuff, but polls coming out of Josh Allen being overrated. You also look into just your typical shelf life value of a quarterback like Josh Allen, who, is tough as nails and has an arm. He makes plays, he's unselfish. He will run and get you those first downs and take on hits, but that can only last for so long. And I think there's something to be said no matter who you are. I mean, obviously there are I don't even want to say exceptions, right? But what you do can only last for so long. And I say that in the sense that even a coach like let's say what's his name? Childress, right? Isn't that the Buffaloes?
right?
Yeah, I believe so.
No, their head coach
Yeah.
is Sean McDermott.
McDermott, Jesus, I'm way off. All right. I'm damn, that's 0 for 2 today. Anyway, uh I stuff only lasts for so long, whether you're a coach, whether you're a boss, and it gets old and then the message stops being received. And I think as great a job as he's done, and that team makes plays, that city is so behind them and they're breaking tables and all that stuff. I think that window is closing on them. And I think really quickly. They went from a team of, we're throwing it around with Diggs and we got Gabe Davis and we got this guy and that guy. I can't remember his name right now. I know he did some great press interviews talking about buying jackets from J.C. Penney.
Keon Coleman.
Yes. Likable guy, great interview. And I'm not saying he's not going to make plays or do this or he won't be great. What I'm saying is when you have a Josh Allen and I don't, are they going Dawson Knox? Are they
Oh
Kincaid?
no, Kincaid. He's a leader
Kincaid?
now. Yeah.
Okay, so and who are their other receivers? Because I think Curtis
And
Samuel's hurt, if I'm not
he
mistaken.
is. Oh, I didn't know that.
My point, Mike, is they. It's like they're trying to solve one problem by addressing another problem that really isn't as much of a problem. Like, I don't know if that makes sense or not, but that's just my feeling on it. I'm not hating on them. I certainly would like to see the Bills or, really, I guess the Bills, then maybe the Dolphins. I'd like to see either one of those teams win the East. I don't really, I don't, no, I work with some people who are Jets fans. It'd probably be good to see the Jets win. They haven't won in a long time. So, yeah, go Jets.
Well, Khalil Shakir, you mentioned him.
I did not.
That I didn't think he was going to be their number one wide receiver, but he is.
Any
He,
relation to Tupac Shakur?
nah, that's Shakir. I said Shakir.
Mm.
I say Akir, not UR.
Oh,
Um, but man, if he number one receiver, that's the fourth receiver, and Samuel's the third. Samuel's the second. Matt Collins the third. They even got Marquez Valdez Scantling on their team. Like that's the five wide receivers. So I'm gonna keep it a buck. That wide receiver crew might be better than what people think, and I think they're gonna their offense could be the best it's been since Josh Allen's been there. He has weapons. He has running backs. He has multiple running backs. He has multiple tight ends, multiple receivers. And I know for one, Samuel, a dog. Like we could talk all day about his health, his size, or whatever. When that man on the field, he's always been noticeable, no matter who's been the quarterback, what receivers he had helping him. I think he's going to perform, and that's why um, I'm picking Buffalo to win the division. No
oh wow.
disrespect to the Jets and the Patriots, they're not I don't trust the Jets at all. Don't trust them at all. And the Patriots are obviously not doing anything this season. Like, is even if they did do anything, if the Patriots did anything, it'll be the flukest season ever. I promise you that. There's no way they should be winning more than 4 games last season. I saw a 4-win team last season.
Excuse me.
The Patriots are either as good as that or worse. They will have a top 3 pick next season. I'm confident. Um,
Wow.
and you got a new head coach too. Like, I'm confident New England's picking in the top 3. So, did you pick your winner for the division yet for the East?
Jets.
Oh, I thought I heard you say Jets. I'm sorry. I was researching the Bills receivers when you was talking about that. Like I said, I just don't trust them. I don't trust them. Definitely don't trust Rodgers. Yeah, the defense going to be fire, but I really think they're just going to be the third horse in that race between Miami and Buffalo, like last year, even if Rodgers is back. Now, of course, if Rodgers stays healthy and he's still Aaron Rodgers, then yeah, all of a sudden the Jets becomes not only a wild card contender but a threat for the division. But I just don't see it. They had the same hopes for Brett Favre when he got there, and we saw how that worked out. So, having said all that, we're going to move on to the next division. And again, Eddie has the Jets winning the East. I have the Patriots winning the East. We'll go through the rest of the playoff, like wild cards and stuff, next episode. But we're going to move on to the AFC South. And I believe that my brother will be talking about the Indianapolis Colts. What you feeling on them, bro?
I think it's going to be an interesting situation to see how Anthony Richardson comes back from injury. And you now are going to probably be relying a little bit more on Jonathan Taylor, who is a year removed, or excuse me, in year 2 of being removed from his injury and contract dispute. So there's a lot there. That team was actually pretty solid. I think the O line is still somewhat intact. Um, Shaq Leonard's not there anymore, but still a solid built team. Um, I'll be honest, right now, off the top of my head, other than Pittman, I don't think I could name any of their receivers. But you look at a three-headed monster like that, Pittman, Richardson, and Jonathan Taylor. That's definitely dangerous, and I think there's a lot of expectations with Houston. I really don't think the Jags are that great. Tennessee, I think they're kind of. I don't think they're going to be a mess, but I don't think they're going to be a threat. So I think there's potential for Indy to kind of be right behind Houston in that division. Just my personal feelings. I think Houston's going to win it, but I think Indy. I think they're going to surprise some people. But obviously, a lot dependent upon Richardson's health. Obviously, you got to hope that last year recovering from injury, maybe he was able to see the game from a different scope from the sideline or, the box or, even if he was at home watching. And then maybe, able to, kind of do some learning via film study, et cetera. Shoot, this day and age might even be some sort of virtual reality. I don't know. But that's where I'm at. Richardson. Go Richardson. AR. You're on mute.
I was saying I knew Indianapolis had drafted a receiver this year that I was following, um, and it was Adonai Mitchell. So I am familiar with Pittman and Mitchell, and I vaguely remember Alec Pierce from last season. Um, it's easy to say the Texans gonna win the division because of what happened last year and the things that they added on, like Diggs and a couple of pieces in the secondary. The Jaguars are one evolution. Well, not evolution, but yeah, they're one evolution away, one Trevor Lawrence evolution away from potentially running this division. I like the weapons. I like the defense low key, but I don't think we've seen anywhere near what Trevor Lawrence could be. And I just feel like as much as, like I said, as much as Stroud did last year, I kind of want to see it again before I give him the crown. And I'm not just going to automatically give Houston the division. Like,
Fair enough.
yeah, because it's
You think it's the sophomore slump, maybe just a little bit, or the
I
fact
wouldn't even
that
say that as much as it is. I just think for starters, the Jaguars are going to have an easier schedule because did they? I don't think they won a division. The Texans won it, right?
yeah, they
I
won it
think the
last
Jaguars did go to the playoff. Oh no, the Jaguars choke. I
year.
think Buffalo took their spot or ended up taking their spot or something.
Yep.
But yeah, like I don't know. I understand why you pick Houston, but I feel like this might be the Jaguars' breakthrough season. I'm not saying that they're going to compete for Super Bowls or anything, but I'm gonna give them the South,
Okay.
which brings us back up to the North, and I wouldn't say they're my second favorite team, but I will say because of where I live and who I work with and whatever, that the Ravens are the second team I follow the most closely, and the buzz is amazing right now in Baltimore and with the fans. But I'll even give them the division. I'll give the Baltimore the division. That's not their problem. It's what happens after the season ends that's been their Achilles heel for the last couple of years. And until we see them do damage in the postseason, all we can do is just continue to be amazed at their regular season performance. But yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with you. The talent is there. I think I'm obviously going to talk about a different team in the division, and what I'm going to say will actually, about that team, it only helps. If you look at the other three division opponents, they all have some sort of issue or issues. Cincinnati, they're dealing with Jamar Chase in the contract. Joe Burrow's situation, like, I think a lot of people really rock with Joe Burrow. I think he's really talented, but that injury is no joke. It's to like thumb ligaments and stuff and having to do with like gripping the ball and how you throw it. And I really think that's like a bigger deal than people have, kind of been talking about. But then maybe at the same time, those who actually know have like kind of secretly put the word out like, hey, not an issue, like just wait and see. So there's that. And then you look at the Browns, Nick Chubb's got videos of him squatting all this, weight with the bar bending and this and that, but he's still recovering from a major knee injury where, like, I think everything, like the PCL, MCL, ACL, all of that went out. And then Deshaun Watson really has not even come close to living up to the contract that he signed there. Uh, I don't not trying to be some sort of mean girl or gossip or whatever, but it was put out there that the Browns were trying to get Ayuk and part ways with Amari Cooper. That didn't work. So now he's coming back. Like, like there's all that going on. And then with Pittsburgh, which is spoiler, the team I'm going to talk about, their quarterback situation's a mess. I'll talk about them in a little bit, but Baltimore, like, yeah, it's their division to lose. Derrick Henry comes over now. You got that like ridiculous defense. Hopefully Mark Andrews can stay healthy. Uh, yeah.
So what about the Steelers, dude?
Well, I think it's a domino kind of thing. It'd be great to see Russell Wilson revive his career. But at the same time, this is what a lot of us said back in the day when, they were winning and he had that great defense and he had Marshawn Lynch and he had guys like Golden Tate and what's my guy? What was the receiver like pretty much his whole career in Seattle? I think he went to Stanford.
Lockett.
No, 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 no. Lockett was a Kansas State guy.
Oh, Baldwin, Doug
Yeah,
Baldwin.
Doug Baldwin. Yep,
I don't
Doug
know if people
Baldwin.
saw me. I started doing the crossover because that's what he was known for. He
Doug
was the first
Baldwin.
receiver to interact basketball
Yep. But point
moves
is, like,
into his
there was
route.
a lot
But
going on
nevertheless,
there to help someone like Russell Wilson, who, don't be wrong, makes plays, studies well. He was on it, but it's a lot easier to look that good when you have all those things I mentioned, that defense, the Legion of Boom, it makes things a lot easier. So now it's Russell Wilson and Justin Fields and George Pickens, who is kind of ridiculous, but that's your number one. Van Jefferson, who's like a speedster, May plays for the Rams. That's your number two. I don't even know who the number three is. You're looking at Najee Harris and what is it? Is it Ward? I think something Ward is the backup.
Warren.
Warren. Excuse me. See, I was close on that one. I wasn't way off. Anyway, I was like maybe one or two letters off. But yeah, you got that guy Warren who can make plays. He's a little bit of a speedster, whereas Harris is the bruiser. Is Fairmouth still their tight end? You want to? I don't know. I think he's still their tight end.
Yeah, Pat Fairmouth used to
Well, I mean, hey, he might be making a lot of plays, but it just it looks like one of those seasons where they're going to really need, like some bailout plays here and there because I think it's going to be all defense. You look at TJ Watt, you look at Minka Fitzpatrick, that team is solid. They got a guy like Patrick Queen now coming over from Baltimore. That defense is solid. Cam Hayward, like they got guys. They're gonna play, and Mike Tomlin's gonna have them. Really getting after it. But again, I think in that division, and I just think with everything I said about the players at the skill positions on the offensive side, I think it's going to be one of those really like defense carrying them to, you know, maybe a one or two game over winning season, if that. I think 100%, like you said, Baltimore's division to lose.
I
Ooh.
don't think the Chargers are competing with the Chiefs this season, but I do think they're finally going to turn that ship around now that they got some actual coaching there. I don't know what man. Remember, I was so high on Brandon Staley. I was like super high on
That's
dude
your
when we
guy. You
first
were.
started
I do remember that.
this show. But
Yep.
man, you
I
want
was
to talk
there.
about somebody? You want to talk about somebody that fumbled the bag? My goodness, like just him, the way he kept going for it on fourth down caused me to lose my mind. Like, bro, like, and the ultimate fill was in 2022. I think it was the final game of the season. If the Raiders and Chargers tied, both of them would have went to the playoffs. But for some reason, this idiot decided to go for a win, and instead of tying the game, and blew it. And the Chargers missed the playoffs, and the Raiders went, and I forgot who took their spot. But yeah, but not Trevor Lawrence, Justin Herbert. He's one of, like I said, he finally got some good head coaching there. Harbaugh is going to take that team to a higher level. He did it with the San Francisco 49ers. Before he went to the 49ers, he did it with Stanford. After the 49ers, he won a freaking national championship with Michigan. There may be
A
some
lot of
blurred.
trouble for some sign stealing
Yeah,
and
that's what I was
texting,
about to say.
all kinds of things there. So
There may
not
be
so
some
fast.
blurred vision with that title, but
Yep.
they won it nonetheless. But yeah, like they have talent too. My man Keenan Allen finally dipped and went to Chicago, but Mike Williams still there, Quentin Johnson there. They have a couple of rookies that they picked up. Um, Running backs, Gus Edwards is there. Jared Patterson,
J.K.
former Washington. Yeah, oh, Dobbins, forgot about him too. So they got some nice pieces out there in LA with the Chargers. Did I say San Diego yet? I don't think I did. But if I did, my apologies. Um, but I just don't think they have enough firepower to compete with the Chiefs. And I'll have them winning the division again. But I think next episode we may be talking about the Chargers again. Wink, wink.
Well, I do think there's sort of equally what I was saying earlier about the Bills with McDermott and the message getting old and getting stale. That equally holds true for the new coach. And Harbaugh is very much one of those guys that kind of, comes in and kind of breathes life into, his teams, be it the Stanford or San Francisco or Michigan. He comes in there and he starts trying to turn things around. And you look at, they already have. I think my man's is it. I'm losing it. I was about to say Christian Slater. It's something Slater, the guy that had success against Chase Young in college. Played for I
I
think North.
forgot his name. He went to Oklahoma. No,
I'm pretty sure it was
he go to
Northwest.
Oklahoma State or no Northwestern. I'm tripping. People are talking
Yeah,
about the
Northwestern.
Northwestern.
Played the
I
Big Ten
forgot
again.
his name. Tristan, maybe. It may be
Tristan
Tristan.
Slater. Well, they already had
Yeah,
him. Then they went and got
it ain't AC.
they got the Notre Dame left tackle. So they're
Oh yeah,
obviously, and with the free agent moves that you mentioned, Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins, getting those backs, they're looking at, and with Herbert being out even more so, they're probably definitely looking at just pounding that rock. So yeah, that's probably their strategy. I think doing that, and like I said, with the Harbaugh thing, I think that could translate to maybe like a couple of wins that maybe you didn't think they'd get. But overall, I think, and this is the team I want to talk about, I think it's going to be the Chiefs to win the division. Shocker, right? And then I think Denver by default. Everything I just said about San Diego, I don't know who's their backup. Who's the guy playing in place of Herbert? I don't know. Do you know? I mean, we do this, and you would think we would be more prepared. For shame on us, but at the same time, that's also sort of a reflection on the fact that it's not like, oh, the Viking situation that's
you're not gonna believe. I'm sorry, I mean to cut you off.
go ahead.
I was thinking in my head. I said they just traded for this Bama yesterday. Is he the backup?
Well,
No, Heineke.
oh, Taylor Heineke. Hey, well, even more so, that'll fit that narrative of run the ball and, kind of steal some wins here and there. But I think it's Denver. I think, what's my guy's name? Bo Nix. I think this is one
Mm-hmm.
of those situations where he's really got some experience and he's older and more mature. This isn't like when Cleveland drafted Brandon Whedon. I don't know if you guys remember that. He was a much older college quarterback than most of the other guys he was playing with, and Cleveland drafted him, and it just didn't work out. So no disrespect to him, but I believe Bo Nix is in a situation where there's no expectations with Denver, but yet they have guys like Cortland Sutton. I'm trying to remember my other guy's name. Like he's just solid, deep threat, good size.
If
Uh,
you're talking about Tim Patrick,
yes, Tim
they
Patrick.
cut him.
They did. Wow. Never mind.
Yeah.
Okay. but still, Javonte Williams, I think, is a beast. Uh, I really think Denver's going to come along in just the simple fact that both the Vegas Raiders and the LA Chargers are just not enough of a threat. I just I I don't know who's the starting quarterback for the for the Raiders. Is it still Jimmy Garoppolo?
Nah, Minshew got announced the starter.
Minshew's the starter for the Raiders.
Yeah, O'Connell, Aiden O'Connell, the backup.
Okay, well, there's some. Oh, that might be a little bit of an underrated, scrappy division now that I think about it. But I think Denver. I think Denver
Yeah.
is going to be the team to beat behind Kansas City.
The Herbert injury does muddle things a bit, but like we already said, the Chiefs. There's a reason neither one of us picked the Chiefs to talk about because we're talking about back-to-back Super Bowl champions, heavy favorites to be the first team ever to win 3 straight Super Bowls. So yeah, it's the Chiefs.
The NFC side, seaside. Anyway, Minnesota Vikings, NFC North. That's what we're doing. I mentioned the JJ McCarthy injury early on. Uh, Sam Darnold is there. Thank goodness, because yeah, thank goodness, because Sam Darnold's gonna hopefully keep the seat warm until JJ's healthy next year. I don't think there's going to be much there, but I think obviously this is one of those could have been worse situations when, we were talking about the hockey tragedy earlier, just kind of putting things in perspective. I mean, you look at the offense with obviously Justin Jefferson, but then you've got TJ Hawkinson, you've got Aaron Jones there at running back. Uh, Kevin O'Connell, is going to dial up, a number of good schemes to get guys open, to make plays, to, feature guys, at their best, or, play to their strengths. So I think they'll be scrappy. I really do. But it's, I mean, who knows? Maybe Sam Darnold, with the experience he's gotten from kind of bouncing around, maybe he surprises us, because the way I look at it, I think people, like, in a weird way, expect more from the Bears than they should, but then equally wouldn't be surprised if they don't do well, because, Caleb Williams is a rookie, and a lot of these guys playing together for the first time, whether they're free agents or also rookies that were drafted. Um, and then, you look at Detroit as obviously being the darling. I think no surprise there that I'm picking Detroit. I would expect you to do the same. I think the Packers, not overrated, but I think that beating the Cowboys in the playoffs, I think that was like, it was a big deal, but then man, that has become such a narrative for both teams involved there, where like people, and don't get me wrong, I'm no hurt feelings or sympathy over here for Dallas, but people have taken that and run away with it, as that being a reflection of them just being trash, that the Packers beat up on them so bad. But then equally, the Packers are heralded for beating up on Dallas so bad in the playoffs. And now, Jordan Love is a top 10 quarterback, and there's all these things going on. So who knows, maybe Minnesota sneaks in there as the number 2. I don't think so. I think more than likely, I think they could be the number 3 team. I wouldn't be surprised there. And maybe, like, sort of give number 2, being Green Bay, a tough time, make it so they earn that number 2 spot. But hey, I mean, just like any of these other predictions, you never know. There's injuries, there's a variety of things that go into play here. So Vikings, skull, cull, whatever it is they say with the clap.
Yeah, and they could be 2 or 3, but the Lions are one. Like they're really going to I'm not going to say run away with the division, but by the time Christmas comes around, they should have it pretty much wrapped up. Best quarterback in the division, as far as I'm concerned. Like you said, Jordan Love, a top 10 quarterback. And I'm like, where's Jared Goff?
Yeah.
Because whether we like it or not, this man has done nothing but cook since he's been in the league.
Yeah.
Two different teams, different philosophies, different coordinators, different role players. Golf has been consistent in all of it. And I know we can go back and say, well, his performance in the Super Bowl was this and that. And I'm like, well, shut up. They was playing the Patriots, for goodness sake.
Yeah.
Like, and it was Sean McVay's first Super Bowl, and like they just had them figured out. They shut Gurley down, and wasn't nothing else the Rams could do that day.
Yeah.
And a lot of people say they probably shouldn't even bet in the game in the first place because of what happened 2 weeks before that
Yeah.
at the Superdome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but the constant in his career has been that he's put up numbers where a lot of quarterbacks struggle to be as consistent as he has been. You can't say Burrow has been as consistent as Goff. You can't say that Lamar's been consistent as Goff. Literally, the only quarterbacks that you could say that's been consistent as Goff has been Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. I can't even say Rodgers has been as consistent as Goff since he's been in the league, and Rodgers won 2 MVPs since Goff been in the league. So, yeah, they got the best quarterback, got the best head coach, best receiver group, best running back group, best offensive lineman.
Jameson Williams is going to play extremely good this year.
You say that.
I
Are
do.
you going to
Just
pick him tomorrow night? Dang.
there's a chance, Mike. I don't know. You over here, you and Johnny and Brian in cahoots now. You guys all
I
wanting to know.
ain't talked to Johnny in a minute,
Yeah. Well, you gonna see him tomorrow.
and I only text Brian like ever. So ain't no cahoots over here. You
Oh,
just been talking about Jameson Williams like you going to draft him tomorrow night. So I'm just calling you out on it. But
so when I
nevertheless,
draft him and then use him as trade bait, I'll get more return value.
and I ain't even say nothing about the tight end Laporta for the
Yeah.
Lions. That might be their second biggest, well, not biggest, but their second best weapon outside of my man Amon Ra. Yeah, I know that's my guy. Even though I did trade him in my dynasty league this
Oh my
offseason.
God, Mike! You traded Amon-Ra St. Brown
Hold up.
for
Can I
whom?
cook for a second? Let me cook for a second.
I don't know,
I
Mike.
traded him for
Turn
T.
me up.
Higgins, and another first
Excuse
round
me.
draft pick. I
Okay.
traded him for T. Higgins and another first round draft pick. And with that draft pick, I drafted the beast from Texas, running back Jonathan Brooks. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand this is some fantasy advice for y'all. I understand that he's starting in the IR or the PUP, so he might miss the first 4 weeks of the season. But you better believe when that Bama gets in that starting backfield for Carolina, something special could happen. And yeah, I just needed a running back, and I already had CD Lamb. So what good? Like I finished almost last season. What good are two receivers going to do for me, bro? Let me get Higgins. Let me get a running back, and yeah, I should be good. But enough about fantasy talk. Um, in reality, the Lions should run away with the division.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to hold you, bro. It would not shock me if the Dirty Birds ran away with the AFC South.
Ooh.
I love that team. I'm one of the few Washington fans that still can tolerate Kirk Cousins. All of them. The football player,
Coach
the
James.
person, the goofiness, all that. Like a lot of stuff that happened with him here, I don't blame him completely. Having said that, like you know what Kirk Cousins does with weapons. I don't have to tell y'all. You seen him cook with Garcon, Jackson, Reed, Crowder. You've seen him cook with Jefferson and Hawkinson and Diggs. I think didn't Jefferson and Diggs? No, Jefferson. It was Jefferson. I mean, it was Diggs and Thielen. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
Diggs and
That he
Adam
cooked with.
Thielen, then Jefferson
Then Jefferson and Thielen.
and Thielen went to
Um,
Carolina. He's still there, as far as I know.
so I say all those names, and now he's going to Atlanta, where he has Bijan Robinson, Drake London, and Kyle Pitts. I don't think it's. Oh, and I forgot in Minnesota he had Dalvin Cook.
Yeah.
So, like, but
Well, you got
these
to
three,
fired up Raheem Morris too. Like that, I think that's
yeah,
the difference. That coach having them playing well. I don't totally disagree with the Atlanta pick, but go ahead. My
yeah.
bad.
I think no, that's cool. The other three teams in the division, I forgot who you were going to talk about. Oh, I remember. Um,
You know who I'm going to talk
I'm gonna let you talk about them, but they had a good season last year. But I don't trust them to do what they're going to do again this season. And coincidentally, we do play them week 1, so I'm gonna get an up close and personal look at them. I think that's what you're talking about, but I'll wait. If not, I'll expound on that. But
about. No, you
as far as I'm concerned, Atlanta running that thing this season. I think they're due.
I mean, we'll see. The division's definitely up for grabs. I don't. Derek Carr doesn't really scare me. Well, I do think the Saints' defense, it'll be a similar situation to what I referenced in Pittsburgh earlier. Carolina, I mean, look, bro, the the process, like you aren't even beginning to start to write the letter P to spell the word process. So that's where Carolina's at least from the way I see it. Maybe they'll surprise some people, but they only had one win last year, as far as I can remember. And, Tampa Bay, I think they just got enough veterans. You got a Mike Evans, you got a guy like Baker Mayfield who's going to get him the ball. You got a versatile, is it Rashard or Rakad White? Um, yeah, I think that team is going to play well, and I think that division is up for grabs. But hey, who knows? Maybe that Falcons team does make plays, but Kyle Pitts has always been kind of a disappointment in terms of fantasy. Maybe he'll flourish. I am anxious to see how John Robinson will come out, but then or won't come out, how he'll play, given the fact new coach and he'll probably be given the ball a lot more. But Kirk Cousins is still recovering from a major injury. I don't think he's going to be out there week 1. I don't think he's going to be ready. And I think that, along with all these guys who haven't played together before, playing together. I mean, well, Pitts, London, and Bijan, but, you throw Kirk into the mix, new head coach, new system. Just saying. Jolly Roger, Buccaneers.
Yeah, but hypothetically speaking, let's say that Kirk isn't ready to go, and they do have to start Penix in the beginning of the year. It might not change my decision much. Penix is good, yo.
Well, allegedly
Like
he's
I
in
hate,
that mature sort of Bo Nix mold too. He has
yeah,
dealt through some adversity with the injuries and everything else, but it's just, I mean, man, a rookie, and again, they're
yeah,
getting the chemistry with all those guys. Who knows how many reps he's getting, right? Like
yeah. I mean, if Kirk ain't practicing, he probably getting all of them.
fair enough. I just think it's going to be way
But
different.
I'm pretty I think there's no way Cousins hasn't practiced this training camp. I feel like we would have knew about that.
Hey,
But nevertheless, I think, yeah, to me, I don't think it matters if it's Penix or Cousins. I just think that team, um, they're they're in prime position. Like you said, Carolina, I would say they're like a dark horse because if Bryce Young could somehow just play much better than he played in his rookie season, I don't think the team is as bad as we all think. They do have a first year head coach, but I don't know, bro. Like quarterback play in this league is so important that if you get hot, you could do anything. Everybody still talks about the 2012 season from RG3, and that wasn't even a complete season. But it just goes to show you what happens when you get that hot at quarterback. Like you really could take a season over. And like I said, we don't even remember. People don't even remember who won the Super Bowl that season. It was the Patriots.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, um, yeah, like I'm feeling Atlanta. It seems like you are too, but
I mean, a
the
little bit. I
Bucks.
really think I think it's Bucks, man. I think it's that
Yeah,
team
I
has
mean they could go
experience.
back to back.
I really do.
I'm not saying
Well,
last year
last
was a
year.
fluke. I'm not saying last year was a fluke. I just feel like with most teams, in most seasons, I'm sorry, in most seasons, you get a favorable schedule, so to speak. When you come in first, I mean, when you come in fourth place, you get the fourth place schedule, and
Okay.
yeah, you just get easier games. Not saying that that's the only reason the Bucks won. Like they still got like y'all know I'm a Baker Mayfield fan, and I love Bake. Like that's always been my two since he stumped that flag at OSU when he was back in college. And I hate how things went down in Cleveland. And I feel like Cleveland is getting exactly what they deserve right now with Watson struggling the way he's been struggling since he's been there. They had a quarterback. It might not have been an elite quarterback or whatever, but you had one in your building. And to
Mm-hmm.
disrespect them like that is crazy. But yeah, Atlanta, I just feel like they're in prime position, bro. Like prime position. And I mean, it wouldn't shock me but if Tampa Bay ran it back. And like I said, we're going to get an up close and personal view of them in Week 1. So if they smack Washington up and down the field on September 8th at 4:30, then yeah, how I guess I have no choice but to say that they're NFC South favorites with how I think Washington could perform next season. If they go out and dominate a team like that, I think it sends a message to the rest of the division like we still here.
Nah, you big dreaming, homie. Buccaneers
How?
win that division.
Hmm?
Buccaneers can win that division.
Oh, we'll see. Um, as far as the NFC West goes, I don't like them as a franchise. Well, no, let me take that back. I actually don't mind their front office and ownership, but some of their players, their fans definitely piss me off, and that's the Seattle Seahawks. But I love their quarterback situation, so to speak. And I love their head coach, Mike McDonald, former defensive coordinator for Baltimore, young as a mug. Like, shoot, I think Mike McDonald might be 7 years younger than me or something crazy like that. So, like, I like what they're doing out there. Um, but like I said, the quarterback situation. If Geno happens to get injured again, they're in great, capable hands. They're in great, capable hands. I don't care what you tell me. Sam Howell can play in this league. He played in arguably the worst offensive scheme that I've probably seen as a Washington fan. And he swammed. Like he might not have been Michael Phelps, but he definitely wasn't Michael Pyatt. I'll tell you that. He swam. He swam, man. And he even looked good in the preseason a couple of times that I saw him. So with him, they got a nice defense. That secondary in Seattle, ridiculous. And it's being led by my man, second year cornerback from Illinois, former teammate of Jaquan Martin. And that's Devin Witherspoon. Like, I really wanted us to draft him last year, the year we drafted Forbes. And it's like, his stock just it shot up to the top of the charts. Like it seemed like as soon as I found out about him, everybody found out about him. And next thing you know, he's going fourth when he was a projected second round pick when I first started hearing about him. He went fourth overall to the Seattle Seahawks. And the rest is history. Like that secondary, I don't know if they'll become the new generation. What they call that secondary, the Sonic Boom or Legion of Boom. I'm sorry.
Sonic.
I don't know if they'll be the second generation of Legion of Boom or anything like that, but they got some dogs out there. They got another quarterback too. I don't think it's Thornton. I think Thornton left, but they got another cornerback in Seattle that rocks with that I think could be good. Not as good as Witherspoon, of course, but good nonetheless. And yeah, bro, that's how I feel about the Seahawks. What NFC West team you're feeling?
I'm going with the Rams. I'm an Aries, gonna just sort of throw my sign into the mix here. I think it's gonna continue to be interesting as you see a guy like Sean McVay, who's obviously still one of those sexy coaches in terms of just being young, being all over it, and knowing just a lot of stuff just by heart in terms of play calling and what worked in the past, what didn't. You look at a guy like Matthew Stafford, who's played for a while, made a lot of money in the league. Um, we'll see how he continues to age, but so far there haven't been any issues. I just look at it as them kind of needing to score a lot of points to win that game. I was just looking at their defense other than Cameron Curl, because he used to play for us, and Tre'Davious White, who used to play for the Bills, I don't really recognize anybody on that defense. Furthermore, Tyler Higbee is out with injury, which, if I'm not mistaken, I think happened just as training camp and stuff started. Maybe I'm incorrect, but if not, then he's still not ready because it was like MCL, PCL, tear, something or other. Uh, Cooper Cup coming back, that's obviously going to eat into Puka Nakua's fantasy value. But should, between the two of those guys and Kyron Williams, we got Matthew Stafford, as I mentioned, that should be a formidable offense. But like I said, in that division, the Niners are stacked. I think Seattle, you just were kind of hyping them up. There's, there's a lot to be excited about there. Between Kenneth Walker, DK Metcalf. They got some guys who can make some plays. I think Tyler Lockett is still there, if I'm not mistaken. They also got the Smith and Jigba from Ohio State. So there's a young, hungry, don't sleep on them kind of team right there. And then, you throw in the Cardinals. I think everybody laughed at the sound bites of that guy going, pum, 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 you explosive and whatever he was saying. But the Cardinals are going to play.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
On Hard Knocks, the guy's name is Gannon, and he was talking to. I think dude was with the Dolphins, and then I can't remember where he ended up after that.
Oh, I didn't even know the Cardinals were on Hard Knocks this year.
No, it was last season.
Oh.
What's the running back? He used to play for the Cardinals, then he went to the Dolphins. I can't remember where he's at now. It's like Chapman or David. I can't remember.
Oh, dang. The dude that used to cook in fantasy?
Somewhat.
It's not David Wilson. Dang. Now I got to
David Wilson's a dude from back in the day who balled for the Giants, but then like concussions and stuff messed him up. Either way, DJ something maybe. Either way, there's like a soundbite of the coach for the Cardinals pointing at him, and he's like, "You explosive, pum, 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 pum," and like being kind of weird. And people mocked him, but the Cardinals played tough and they made plays and they won some games. And I think now with Kyler Murray back, I think you might see them kind of pick up where they left off and be a real tough team. So when I look at the Rams and I look at what I just talked about within the division, which I think is 100% the 49ers to lose. By the way,
You're
Brandon,
talking about. I'm sorry. You're talking about Chase Edmonds.
yeah, I was way off. DJ
But
champion nothing.
I'm thinking about David Johnson.
Oh no. David Johnson's my guy. Helped me win a fantasy championship one year. Shout out to David Johnson. But anyway, with Kyler Murray coming back, I think the Cardinals are going to be tougher than you think. I honestly think it would be Niners, probably Seahawks, then Cardinals, then Rams. I mean, who knows? But like I said, I really think the Rams are going to have to just outscore teams to win. And it wouldn't be a surprise if they do that a few times. You got some key pieces, as I mentioned. You got Sean McVay. Like, yeah, hey, you're on mute.
Don't sleep on the Rams defense, though, bro. Um, that's another reason I can't wait to get out of here, bro. I wouldn't have to put my mic on mute as much, but nevertheless,
No,
um, yeah, their defense should be solid. I know Donald just retired, but the coaching there has always been nice on the defensive side of the ball. I just think the pieces have been lacking. I can't really think of many defenders on their team, but I know one of their defenders. And I don't think he's gotten injured this year. And I feel like he's only one player, but I feel like a change of scenery is going to do him good. And that's no other than former Commander number 31 for us, but I believe he's number 2 for the Rams. And that's Cameron Curl, Mr. Emoji Handshake himself. Yeah, I feel like the defense is going to be all right, but like let's cut the crap. We know who's winning the division this year, unless they get their annual or their semi-annual, um, not
injury.
semi-annual, yeah, their injury devastation bug, where everybody gets injured and misses like 6 games apiece, and not all at the same time. But yeah, they got that IU situation handled. I'm pretty sure
They're
Trent
still dealing
Williams
with
will.
the Trent Williams thing, though.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I'm sure Trent Williams will um, get what he needs. Like they're not going to sell Trent Williams or Ho if you're into that vernacular.
Yeah,
But yeah, like it's good. Like Brock Purdy, we could talk about the Bama until the cows come home, but as long as he's with Kyle Shanahan, it doesn't matter if he's a system quarterback or not because he's with Kyle Shanahan. And I feel like that question is a dumb question too. We need to stop asking that joint or caring about that joint. Because at the end of the day, every quarterback is a system quarterback. They need the entire offensive scheme to work in order for them to perform at their best. And I feel like we'll get a
froze up on us, Mike.
I don't know what just happened, but it's time to end the show for the week, y'all. I lost everything, but I'm back. Not everything, but yeah, I was ending the show and it just disappeared. So we're going to cut it out right here. But remember, um, let's just go through our division winners real quick. Now, let's save it for next week. If y'all listen to the show, y'all know who we picked to win it. And we'll be back next week to recap the division winners, predict the Super Bowl winners, which will not be the Commanders unless Eddie wants to go crazy. I highly doubt either one of us will be picking the Commanders to win the Super Bowl. But come back next week to see who we do pick and what we feel about the Commanders and the rest of the NFC East. Until then, we'll holler at y'all Bamas later. I know this is by far the latest that we've ever finished the episode of Eddie and Mike, but we did what we had to do.
We did. We did it. We made it here. We did all the things.
We're going to holler at y'all Bamas next week, and I'm going to brag about how I cooked Eddie in the draft.
Not even. It's not going to happen. That's big cap.
Who finished but higher last year?
That's 1 year.
We only been in it 2 years.
Okay, and I finished higher than you the year before, so we're even.
Touche. Did you make it to the championship game last year too?
I don't think so.
Not last year, but the year before,
that. No, but before we get off, since this is on recording, I am the first and only to win the championship and the total points prize the same year. And I'm not only the first to do it, I'm the only to do it. And I'm not only the first and only, but I'm the first and only to do it twice. Nobody else has done it once. I've done it twice.
So I guess this year I got to do that and go undefeated. I think I can do that.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, I don't know how you're going to do that when I was going to do that. Like, you know what I mean? It's like Talladega Nights. Like, how are you going to get gold if I was going to get gold?
You know what?
Ain't nothing wrong with silver, Mike. Ain't nothing wrong with silver.
We are going to end this show, but I was thinking earlier. Don't get me wrong. I
don't want to get
winning.
Wrong.
I love winning. I like to win, and I do it a lot in life, video games. Like, I am a winner, despite my football team and the rest of my pro sports teams in my city. I win a lot.
Yeah.
Having said that,
interesting.
My goal, because I do love to win and like to win, that's not my goal. My goal is that every single week, it is going to sound crazy, but when you're used to winning like I win, you can kind of change how you feel about competition and whatnot. All I want is for when people see that they're playing me that week to go, shoot, I gotta play Mike this week. If I can get that type of feeling, or if I could sense that type of feeling when people playing with me, or pause when people playing against me, I can rock with that. Because I could be considered a threat, rather I'm winning or losing. And like I said, I win a lot. So more often than not, it is going to be a bad week for you when you play against me.
Oh, is that so?
Yeah. I ain't been cocky. The truth is the truth.
Oh, is it?
When you see me in fantasy football, it's going to be a long week. Whether you win or lose, it's going to be a long week. And I'm happy about that. And don't let me win. And you better be careful, not you specifically, but if anybody talk, because I don't really talk trash like that until somebody talk trash to me first. If that happens, you better hope that you get the W, because I ain't going to let you hear the end of it if you talk trash and then lose against me. But nevertheless, I do want some revenge. I don't know who won the championship last year, but I kind of hope I play on week 1.
Okay.
I need to send a message. Matter of fact, I'm sending messages. Bro, I'm in 14 fantasy leagues.
Week 1.
I'm in 14 fantasy leagues this year, bro. 14. I want to send messages in all 14 of them drinks. The good news is that most of those leagues are what's called a dynasty league, so the lineups are already set. Like weeks in advance for week 1. Like I kind of got an idea. It's not until later in the season when I'm like, heck, I gotta adjust all these lineups. But nevertheless, it's been real, y'all. We out of this hole. Oh no, you still trying to see who I play week 1?
Yep.
So we back in this hole. And thanks everybody. While he's looking that up, thanks everybody for not like being offended with that type of slang and talking. Because obviously, I'm female when I say that. But yeah, should be a fun fantasy football season and a fun football season. And I guess kind of previewing next week's show if y'all made it to the end. I am excited for Washington next year. But I don't care about what happens in next season.
Playing Johnny week 1.
Oh yeah, Johnny getting up out of there ASAP.
Oh, I'm starting so much stuff at the draft tomorrow.
ASAPery. Get him up out of there ASAP. But yeah, we definitely I'm telling you, next week, if you're a Commanders fan, tell all your friends, tell all your family that we're going to be talking about the NFC East. But the first half of that show is going to be Eddie and I thoughts on the upcoming season. And I can't speak for my brother, but me personally, I've been holding so much back for next week's episode. Like I haven't been saying anything about my true feelings about the team because I wanted to wait until next week's episode. I ain't even say nothing on the classified. Actually, I haven't been on the classified in like 4 weeks, bro.
Oh damn!
Cause I was in that, I was in Nashville last week. I mean, yesterday, so I couldn't do it yesterday. And the week before that, I forgot my computer charger, so I wasn't on there. So if y'all been looking for me, like stuff just been happening. That's why I haven't been classified, but I'm still a part of it. I didn't leave like some people did. Then that's not a shot at Eddie. Like Eddie is Eddie.
What do you mean? I didn't leave. I didn't even know I was ever a part of it.
Nah, cousin.
Shows.
I know, but people probably thought that was a shot at you, not knowing that you're not you're not even a target. Because I'm pretty sure they've seen you on the show before, but I'm just letting them know I'm not talking about my brother. My brother is going to be down for the cause forever when it comes to this podcast.
I'll die for it.
But for the 4th time, we bid you all adieu. We're going to holler at y'all next week. Johnny, lace him up. You go one-on-one with the great one in week 1.
Deuces.